The moment I discovered Chloe was a gold digger, I ended it. That, I thought, was the painful end of a chapter. I was wrong. It was only the prelude. In a move of breathtaking audacity, she struck first, painting me as a monster, a rapist, claiming she had only stayed with me out of fear. She didn't just tell her friends. She went live on a broadcast, right below my apartment building, a tearful martyr broadcasting her fabricated misery to the world, weaponizing public opinion into a digital mob. The comments section was a cesspool of pitchforks and torches. A monster like that deserves chemical castration. Keep him from ruining other lives. Let's do what the law won't. If the system can't punish this rapist, we will, for the sake of justice. I hope his entire family dies in a car crash. The situation spiraled out of control. Fueled by her performance, a mob of self-righteous crusaders stormed my private studio and smashed a collection of priceless artifacts I had spent years restoring. I stood to the side, a silent mourner at the funeral of my own life's work, watching the horde of simple-minded vigilantes. I didn't know if they could truly punish me, but I knew, with absolute certainty, that the law would punish them. Every last one. It had all started innocently enough, just a few days prior. I was scrolling through a social media feed when a lurid live stream title caught my eye. After a monster violated me, what's left of my life? In the video, a woman with a graceful figure, her face obscured by a mask and a hat, spoke through a voice distorter, recounting a harrowing tale of assault. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing, she sobbed. The very first night we met, he got me drunk and dragged me to a cheap motel. I was on my period, her voice cracked, but he didn't care. Afterward, he was so scared I'd get pregnant that he forced me to swallow handful after handful of morning after pills. Her words were a torrent of accusations, painting a portrait of an unfeeling brute. I felt a surge of white-hot anger, a primal urge to find this scumbag and teach him a lesson myself. I thought he genuinely liked me, she continued, her voice thick with despair. But once he had me, he became distant, cold. He only ever called when he wanted. That. Every single time we met, it was in a bedroom. He treated me like an object, not a person. I wanted to expose him, but he has intimate photos of me. I'm terrified. In the year we were together, I had to have 3 abortions. The live stream's viewership exploded. Within half an hour, over 50,000 people were flooding the chat, cursing the anonymous man, wishing death upon his entire family. After my initial rage subsided, a sliver of skepticism crept in. Her concealed identity, the dramatic narrative, it felt like a calculated ploy for attention. But then, responding to the doubters in the chat, her voice broke with what sounded like genuine pain. It's not that I'm afraid to show my face, she choked out. I'm just so scared of his retaliation. Please, everyone, she pleaded. If you just tap the follow button and the little red heart, if you support me, I can find the courage to fight back against this evil. Then, she played her trump card. If we can get to 300,000 viewers, I'll take off my mask and hat. The numbers skyrocketed. In less than 40 minutes, the goal was met. Ever since Chloe Wei had shattered my trust, I developed a visceral hatred for people who preyed on genuine emotion. I, too, tapped the like button, a small contribution to the coming justice. The moment of truth arrived. The streamer slowly removed her hat, then peeled away her mask. A face as pure and delicate as a water lily emerged. Wow, she's gorgeous. No wonder that monster targeted her. You're so brave. We support you, sister. Name him. We'll make sure he and his whole family are socially executed. The chat was on fire. My heart, however, plummeted into an icy abyss. Because the streamer I had just been cheering for, the victim I had just supported, was none other than my gold-digging ex-girlfriend, Chloe Wei. Was this karma? The day I discovered I was just one of many fish in her well-stocked pond, I had been incandescent with rage. I told her we were through. In response, Chloe had unleashed a theatrical tirade of tears and threats, demanding a $5 million breakup fee for the youth I had wasted. I, not being the world's biggest fool, had simply blocked her number. Now, it seemed she'd found a new grift. The timeline she described, however, overlapped perfectly with our relationship. The thought was nauseating. The ravenous online crowd pushed her to name her abuser. Morbidly curious to see which poor soul had actually fallen into this sociopath's trap, I stayed to watch. Don't be afraid, sister. Expose him. Your online family has your back. The law can't touch him. We'll make sure justice is served. Chloe glanced at the exploding viewer count, her eyes feigning hesitation. He has a terrible temper. I'm scared. Then, the masterstroke. But if the number of supporters hits 1 million, I think I'll have the courage to stand up to him. The platform's army of fools went to work, furiously liking and sharing. In the midst of this, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Caleb, give me the 5 million now, and we can call it even. Otherwise, I will destroy your reputation. 5 million. It was her. I couldn't believe her audacity. She was orchestrating a public crucifixion while simultaneously trying to extort me privately. The woman was a multitasking marvel of malevolence. As the viewer count neared 1 million, another text came through. Caleb Vance, you will regret this. On the screen, Chloe's face was pale, her eyes red-rimmed with manufactured tears. Everyone, she whispered, you have to be my voice. You have to help me. The man's name, his last name is Vance. A cold dread washed over me. Suddenly, Chloe liked a comment in the chat and pinned it to the top. Holy crap, it's not Caleb Vance, is it? My mind went blank. In the span of an hour, I had been transformed from a victim of her infidelity into a rapist. I fumbled with my phone, my vision blurring, and unblocked her number. The call rang a few times before it was brutally disconnected. I called again. This time, the ringing of her phone was audible through the live stream. She picked it up, glanced at the screen, and her face contorted into a mask of theatrical terror. Everyone, she stammered, he's found me. He's calling me. I'm so scared. I have to go. She abruptly ended the broadcast, but the firestorm she had ignited was just beginning to rage. The audience, left on a cliffhanger, began to spread my name across every social media platform. Who is this guy? How can he be so arrogant? Someone needs to investigate his connections. We need to purge this filth from society. Finally, Chloe answered my call. Caleb, you saw the stream, didn't you? Her voice was laced with smug victory. Chloe, I'm giving you one chance. I seethed, my voice trembling with rage. Delete the video and go live right now to clarify the truth. A cold, dismissive laugh echoed from the other end. I was just having a little fun. Why are you so tense? She taunted. Clarify? Are you kidding me, Caleb? I have hundreds of, thousands of followers now. Why would I delete anything? You wouldn't pay my breakup fee, she said, her tone sickeningly casual. A girl's got to make a living somehow, right? I wanted to reach through the phone and tear that smirk off her face. I had never encountered such a shameless human being. That night, she went live again. She tearfully recounted how I had harassed and threatened her, claiming I'd vowed to make her disappear from this world. She stared into the camera, her eyes red but defiant. This time, to protect more innocent girls from being hurt, I will fight this monster to the very end. This broadcast was even more unhinged. She fabricated a litany of vile accusations. He preys on young, naive girls. He cruises university campuses for victims. He's a regular at bars, picking up women for one-night stands. While we were dating, he even brought someone back to our bed and made me watch. She even photoshopped chat logs where I subjected her to the most degrading verbal abuse. You're a worthless slut who seduced me, so you'll do as you're told. I am your master. You are my dog. When I say east, you do not go west. Understand. She wept as she exposed my monstrous behavior, one fabricated sin at a time, before shamelessly doxing me, flashing my government ID on screen for a few seconds, just long enough for dozens of bloggers to screenshot and repost it. Don't back down, sister. We support you. Let's pick a day and go teach that scumbag a lesson together. The moment her stream ended, my phone was flooded with dozens of hateful messages. I knew this was only the beginning. I called my lawyer. Since Chloe knew my address, he advised me to relocate for my own safety. I'm a designer, but my true passion is my private, discreet studio where I restore ancient artifacts. Most importantly, it's equipped with a 360-degree, high-definition surveillance system. I decided to retreat there to wait out the storm. The next morning, a thunderous banging rattled the studio door. Thinking it was a client, I opened it. A massive force shoved me backward, and I stumbled, barely keeping my balance. A mob, armed with phones and cameras like modern-day cannons, poured into the room. Thought you could hide here, you monster? He's cornered. Good job, everyone, for tracking down this piece of social filth. Cameras were shoved in my face, spittle flying as they screamed at me. I wiped my cheek and saw her, Chloe, hiding behind the mob, a triumphant, silent smirk on her face. This is breaking and entering, Chloe, I said, my voice low and steady. Take these people and leave, or I'm calling the police. She flinched, her eyes welling with tears. She tugged on the sleeve of the most aggressive man in the group, a burly man I'd later know as Ronan King. Ronan, maybe we should just go, she whispered pitifully. Look how aggressive he is. I don't want you to get hurt because of me. I'll just endure it. Her performance enraged him. You look like a gentleman, but you're a piece of scum. You ruin a good girl's life and you think you're in the right. He turned to his live stream. All right, everyone. Today we teach this scumbag a lesson. I looked past them, directly at Chloe. We knew each other once. Don't let this get uglier than it already is. If you insist on this, I will take legal action. Ronan puffed out his chest. Don't you threaten her, you pretty boy. I'm in charge of this now. The crowd roared its approval, pressing in on me. Legal action? The only punishment you deserve is to be castrated. Look at him, with his long hair. He's not even a real man, one of them sneered. My hair was slightly longer than average for my work in the arts, and now it was a mark of deviance. The situation was spiraling. A shop owner from next door joined the chorus. I always said something shady was going on here. Look at all his designer clothes. He's probably a male prostitute, too. Ronan stepped forward. You ruined a virgin's life. You owe her compensation. 10 million. That's all. I just smiled faintly at Chloe. Her appetite was truly impressive. Seeing my lack of response, Ronan's face twisted in rage. Fine. If you won't pay, we'll smash this place to pieces and get justice for Chloe that way. He produced a bucket of what looked like black paint and hurled it across a rack of antique silk threads and restored historical garments I had painstakingly sourced. Everyone, hit the like button. For every like, I'll smash something in here for you. Let's support poor Chloe. My eyes traced the destruction. These are antiques, I warned, my voice flat. Some are national treasures. You can't afford the consequences. Antiques. Ronan laughed. You think we're idiots? Everyone in the chat, should we smash it? Type 1 for yes. The screen filled with ones. The live stream viewers had reached nearly 2 million. Ronan's eyes landed on a shelf of collectible figures. He grinned, hefted a hammer he'd brought, and swung. These are expensive, I said calmly. Selling your entire family won't be enough to pay for them. That only egged him on. He brought the hammer down with a furious roar, shattering a shelf of limited edition, custom-made figures. A younger guy in the mob pointed at the wreckage. Dude, I think that was the 24-karat gold-plated Godzilla. The list price is over $1 million, and it's impossible to find. Ronan froze, the hammer clattering to the floor. He can't be that rich. Chloe quickly interjected from the back. He made me pay for our motel rooms. He wouldn't spend that kind of money on a useless toy. Yeah, maybe I was wrong, the young man mumbled. Ronan's confidence returned. He picked up the hammer, emboldened. Chloe shot me a look that said, see what happens when you don't pay me? I glanced up at the hidden camera in the ceiling and let out a quiet sigh. My heart was bleeding, watching years of meticulous work turn to dust. I reached for my phone to call the police, but Ronan knocked it from my hand and smashed it with the hammer. No cops. Today is about justice. The chat went wild. I'll send a rocket gift if you smash that clock on the wall. As the madness continued, I tried one last time. Please, think about what you're doing. Many of these things will bankrupt you. Destroying cultural relics means jail time. You're a rapist who isn't in jail. Why should we, the righteous, be punished? They retorted. I'll send a carnival gift if someone cuts that pretty boy's hair. It's pissing me off. A group of them surged forward, pinning me to the floor. They grabbed a pair of scissors from my sewing basket and began hacking at my hair, the sharp tugs sending jolts of pain across my scalp. I'm going to sue every single one of you. I warned. You will rot in prison. Just then, one of the live streamers shouted, Hey everyone, there's a hidden door here. Ignoring the pain, I scrambled to my feet and blocked the entrance to the inner chamber. It was my private repository, a climate-controlled vault where the most valuable artifacts were stored. So this is where he hides. Chloe's voice dripped with fake discovery. Ronan, what if that's where he keeps the evidence of his crimes? What if that's where he assaults his victims? Seeing my panicked attempt to block them, the mob was convinced they'd found the real crime scene. The fox is showing its tail, folks. Ronan yelled to his audience. We're going in. Get those likes up. 2 men grabbed me, and the rest flooded into the vault. I stopped struggling. I would let them have their moment of madness. They would soon learn the cost. The vault's lights flickered on, revealing a simple room with a single work table and, on a conservation stand, a priceless, intricately embroidered silk bodice. Chloe covered her face. Hey, he liked me to wear things like that in bed, she stammered. The mob gasped as if they'd uncovered the holy grail of evidence. This is it. The proof. The sicko forced his victims to wear this. You really shouldn't touch that, I said, my voice dangerously quiet. If you do, you'll spend the rest of your life in jail. That was all the provocation Ronan needed. He tore the delicate bodice from its stand, threw it on the floor, and ground it under his heel. Filthy tool of his crimes. Destroy it. My face went rigid. The bodice belonged to the imperial consort Jun of the Qing dynasty. It was a national treasure, a Class 1 cultural relic I was in the process of restoring. He's triggered, one of them cheered. This is how you punish scum. Tomorrow, we hit his house. As they were celebrating their victory, the studio door flew open. This time, it was the police. We received an alarm from this location. What's going on here? The men holding me let go, stunned. I walked forward and pointed to the mangled silk on the floor. That, I said to the officer, is the bodice of the imperial consort Jun. It is a national treasure. I warned them, but they destroyed it deliberately, which triggered the silent alarm connected to the Cultural Heritage Administration. Because of the artifact's value, the authorities had installed a hidden, tamper-proof alarm. I then gestured to the wreckage in the main room. And all of that, those are all state-protected cultural relics of varying grades, all intentionally destroyed by them. Ronan paled, stumbling back a step. What relics? That's his crime paraphernalia, he stammered at the police. Officer, don't be fooled by him. We were serving justice. Soon, several elderly experts from the Heritage Administration arrived, their faces turning ashen as they surveyed the devastation. Monstrous. One of them whispered, his hands trembling. These are our ancestors' treasures. You just smashed them. They produced their credentials and the artifact's authentication documents, displaying them for the stunned, silent mob. Chloe tried to shrink into the background, but it was too late. There was surveillance footage. No one who participated was getting away. On the way to the station, Ronan was still live streaming, forcing a smile. Well, folks, looks like I'm being martyred for the cause. When I get out, we'll celebrate this victory for justice. He aimed his camera at my face, and the chat filled with insults. I just watched them, silent. They were dead men walking. My lawyer, Mr. Davies, was waiting for us at the station. With cold precision, he began to educate the legally illiterate mob. Publicly insulting and fabricating facts to defame another person, in a severe case, carries a sentence of up to 3 years in prison. He began. Intentionally destroying state-protected cultural relics, in a severe case, carries a sentence of 3 to 10 years, plus fines. He held up a long, itemized list. Regarding the property you destroyed, excluding the national treasures, the value of the private property comes to approximately $30 million. As for who smashed what, this high-definition surveillance footage is perfectly clear. The color drained from their faces. Ronan, who was responsible for the bulk of the damage, collapsed to the floor. Impossible. Chloe said he was broke. That he made her pay for motels. You've made a mistake. Yes, his money must be illegal. Chloe finally piped up, trying to muddy the waters. Officer, you should investigate him. Mr. Davies scoffed. My client is Caleb Vance. As in, the heir to the Vance conglomerate. Is it so strange that he's wealthy? Chloe's eyes went wide, her face a mask of disbelief. The Vance conglomerate? The global #1. When we nodded, all the fight went out of her. Mr. Davies played the surveillance video, asking each person to confirm the items they had destroyed. During a break, I went to the restroom. Chloe followed me. Caleb, I don't want this to get ugly, she began, blocking my path. How about this? We make a deal. You drop the charges against all of us, and I'll go online and clear your name. Otherwise, she threatened, this will only get worse for you. You're already labeled a rapist. You don't want to add rich bully of the common folk to that, do you? The internet will tear your whole family apart. You know what they say, forgive and forget. Don't push people too far. I looked at her face, once so seemingly pure, now a mask of pure poison. I return those words to you, I said flatly. I told you to stop when you started this. You were the one who kept pushing. You want a deal now? It's too late. Back in the main room, the mob was refusing to sign the damage confessions. Since the Vance family is so rich, why bother with us little people? One of your toys is worth more than our families will make in a lifetime. Are you trying to drive us to suicide? I looked at the self-proclaimed arbiters of justice. I warned you repeatedly when you were in my studio. You chose not to listen. Now you want to play the victim and start another media war? I'm telling you now, if you don't sign, you're not walking out of this station. Seeing I was immovable, Ronan panicked. He lunged for Chloe, dragging her from the back of the group. Miss Wei, you have to help me. I did all this for you. I'm facing a mountain of debt because of you. You can't abandon me. The others swarmed her, just as they had swarmed me. Chloe's soft facade finally cracked. What does it have to do with me? She shrieked. You're the ones who wanted to punish a monster. You're the ones who decided to break down the door. I just showed you the way. I even told you to leave so you wouldn't get in trouble. I never asked you to smash anything. Her hypocrisy was a boomerang that flew straight back and embedded itself in the hearts of her righteous army. You're a devious, wicked girl, Ronan roared, lunging at her. Chloe scrambled behind an officer. Officer, he's going to hit me. He's harassing me. I want to press charges. It was a magnificent, chaotic implosion. Eventually, they all signed. As they were being processed, a shell-shocked man who had been part of the mob but hadn't smashed anything asked, Officer, I didn't break anything. Can I go home now? The others stared, the full weight of Chloe's betrayal finally sinking in. It was far too late. Ronan, a giant of a man, fell to his knees before me. Mr. Vance, we were blind. We were fooled by that little witch. Please, have mercy on us. Impossible, I said, my voice like ice. You blame her, but you made your own choices. You chased clicks and attention without a thought for truth or consequences. This is the price. That night, Chloe had the gall to go live again. Title: I no longer ask for justice. Just please let my supporters go. She was back in her role as the fragile victim, claiming I was retaliating against the brave people who stood up for her. Her eyes were red, her face gaunt and exhausted. The pressure has been too much, she wept. I wake up from nightmares every night. But what can I do? I'm just a weak victim. After I spoke out, people point and stare at me everywhere I go. I'm scared. I'm so scared. Everyone, please forgive my cowardice. Please stop speaking up for me. She was painting me as a shadowy, all-powerful villain. But this time I was ready. First, I posted a link in her chat. It was the security footage of her and another man in my home while I was away. Next, I posted a detailed timeline of our relationship, complete with bank transfers for her allowance, receipts for luxury goods, and screenshots of her secret social media account, where she flaunted my assets as her own. Finally, I posted the unedited footage from the police station, showing the moment her loyal army turned on her. I never wanted my private life to become a public spectacle, but she had crossed every line. She wanted to be an influencer. I would make sure she was consumed by the backlash. The tide of public opinion turned in an instant. Wow, she pretended to be so pure, but she's just a manipulative gold digger. So she was the real predator all along? No wonder she never had any real evidence. This woman has probably destroyed so many lives. And to think she accused the heir of the Vance conglomerate? As if he'd ever need to force himself on anyone. My lawyer filed the lawsuit, and I waited for the court date. One morning during rush hour, I got a call from headquarters. Mr. Vance, you need to get down here. There's a disturbance at the main entrance. When I arrived, a woman and a young boy were kneeling in front of the main doors of the Vance conglomerate tower, blocking the entrance. The woman was Ronan King's wife. Seeing me, she began banging her head on the pavement, blood trickling down her forehead. Please, we're a poor widow and orphan, she cried. Have mercy on my husband. He was just a good man trying to help someone. You're so rich, and you're demanding millions from us. We could never earn that in 10 lifetimes. Are you trying to kill my family? Emotional blackmail. I walked forward and looked down at them without a shred of pity. The pathetic often have a hand in their own misery. Your family's current situation is not my fault. You're pleading with the wrong person, I said coldly. And as for me being rich and you being poor, is that how it works? You get to destroy my property without consequence? By that logic, if I went and ransacked your home, you would graciously forgive me, right? You dare? I'll get my dad to beat you up. The little boy, no older than 7, snarled, his face contorted with rage. Such venom in one so young spoke volumes about his upbringing. I pulled out my phone. Ma'am, you're blaming the wrong person, I said, showing her a video. The person who truly destroyed your family is this woman. Look closely. It was evidence my lawyer had uncovered. To secure Ronan's unwavering loyalty, Chloe had privately met with him. He had apparently mortgaged his family's home to give her a donation of $50,000. Before they'd even met. To seal the deal, she had seduced him. The act had taken place in the car I had bought for her. When my lawyer recovered the vehicle, the dashcam footage had captured everything. The woman's face turned to stone as she watched. She snatched the phone, her knuckles white. That little slut, she hissed, her voice trembling with rage. She dared to seduce my husband? And she played the victim, pushing him to be her champion? I'm going to skin her alive. She yanked her son to his feet and disappeared into the crowd. A few days later, the internet exploded again. This time, the star was Chloe. Ronan's wife had tracked Chloe down while she was on a date with a new sugar daddy. She had stormed into the restaurant, broadcast the entire confrontation live, and exposed Chloe's true nature to the world. Other victims began to come forward, telling stories of her honey traps and extortion schemes. Furious that her online image and income stream was destroyed, Chloe went to confront Ronan's wife. An argument escalated into a shoving match at the top of a flight of stairs. Both women tumbled down. Chloe, in a cruel twist of fate, broke her spine. She would never walk again. On the day of my defamation trial, she appeared in a wheelchair. When she saw me, she grabbed my sleeve, her grip surprisingly strong. "Caleb, please, let me go," she begged, her eyes darting toward the media cameras. Even now, she was performing, trying to leverage her disability for sympathy. But this world is not ruled by tears. I can't take it anymore. Please, just let me go. I'll admit I was wrong, okay? To see her, once so vibrant, now broken and confined to a chair, was a brutal sight. But this was a fate of her own making. "Chloe, wrong is wrong," I said, pulling my sleeve away. "You can't just admit it was wrong and erase what you did. When you were slandering me, my family was afraid to leave the house. My company's stock plummeted. The board of directors wanted my head. Though I had tried to appear unfazed, I knew the private hell I had endured. What does any of that have to do with me?" she spat, her victim act vanishing. "If you had just never broken up with me, none of this would have happened." I was, once again, stunned by her shamelessness. "Stay with you? So you could plant an entire forest on my head?" She showed no remorse. "Even if we broke up, if you had just given me the $5 million, there would have been no problem. You're so rich, $5 million is pocket change to you. You were just too stingy. You deserved everything that happened." Her twisted logic was almost laughable. I freed my sleeve from her grasp. "Then you," I said, looking down at her, "deserve this." A hysterical scream followed me as I walked away. "Caleb, are you trying to kill me? You want me to go to jail? You bastard." Perhaps in her world, she was never wrong. The fault always lay with others. A blogger blocked my path. "She's apologized to you. What more do you want?" I looked at him, another one of her fish, no doubt. "I don't want anything," I said, my voice ringing with clarity for the cameras, for myself. "I just want the truth. A fair, public, and just truth. Not distorted facts and fabricated lies. Not slander for the sake of clicks." The trial concluded. The verdict was delivered in the courtroom. Chloe Wei, for the crimes of public insult, defamation, and incitement. The sentences will be served concurrently. You are hereby sentenced to 4 years and 11 months in prison. I walked out of the courthouse into the bright afternoon. The sky was a brilliant, cloudless blue. It was the air of freedom, the air of a truth and a justice that, while sometimes delayed, had finally arrived. The end.